Hello, everybody. How you guys doing today? I pray you're doing well. I sure do. And welcome to Reading the Word Bible in the Year with Mr. Jean. Today is a 332, Friday 332. We're going to be reading Ezekiel 40 till 43. As always, the Bible I'm reading from Mr. Master New King James Version. If you guys like what I'm doing, like, share, subscribe, follow, below notification because I post video like this every day. Uh, Also, check out my playlist because I do more than just the Bible in the Year in here. Us in my Facebook group called the Ozuga and All Was God. I built that Facebook group so you and I we can go together as a Christian. So check it out. If you like the group, join the group. If you find anything that strike your fancy, like and share it. Or if you have anything you know, go for it. As long as God/Christ related and it's no blasphemy. All right, let us begin. Sorry for swearing like crazy. It's hot. Ezekiel 40, a new city, a new temple. In the 25th year of our captivity, at the beginning of the year, on the 10th day of the month, in the 14th year after the city was captured, on the very same day, the hand of the Lord was upon me, and he took me there. In the vision of God, he took me into the land of Israel and set me on a very high mountain. On it toward the south was something like the structure of a city. He took me there, and behold, there was a man whose appearance was like the appearance of a bronze. He had a line flax of measuring rod in his hand, and he stood in the gateway. And the man said to me, Son of man, look with your eyes and hear with your ears, and fix your mind on everything that I show you. For you were brought here so that I might show them to you. Declare to the house of Israel everything you see. Now there was this wall all around the outside of the temple. In the man's hand was a measuring rod, 6 cubits long, each being a cubit and a handbreadth. And he measured the length of the wall, stricture on rod, and the height on the wall, the eastern gateway of the temple. Then he went to the gateway which faced east, and he went up its stairs and measured the threshold of the gateway, which was on the rod wide, and on the other threshold was on the rod wide. Each gate chamber was 1 rod long and 1 rod wide. Between the gate chambers was a space of 5 cubits, and the threshold of the gateway by the vestibule or the side gate was 1 rod. He also measured the vestibule of the inside gate and rod, and then he measured the vestibule of the gateway, 8 cubits, and the gate post 2 cubits. The vestibule of the gate was on the inside. In the eastern gateway were 3 gate chambers, on one side and then 3 on the other side, and 3 on the for the same size. Also, the gate posts were of the same size on this side and that side. He measured the length of the entrance to the gateway, 10 cubits, and the length of the gate, 13 cubits. There was space in front of the gate chamber, 1 cubit on the side and 1 cubit on that side. The gate chamber was 6 cubits on this side and 6 cubits on that side. When he measured the gateway from the roof of the gate chamber to the roof of the outer, the width was 25 cubits, and as door faces door, what? As door face door. Okay. He measured the gate post 60 cubits high, and the corner all around the gateway extended to the gate post. From front of the entrance gate to the front of the vestibule of the inner gate was 50 cubits. There were bevel window framing the gate chamber and in the intervening archway of the inside of the gateway all around, and likewise in the vestibule there were windows all around on the inside, and on each gate post were palm trees. The outer court. Then he brought me into the outer court, and there were chambers and pavement made all around the court. 20 chambers faced pavement. The pavement was by the side of the gateway, corresponding to the length of the gateways. This was lower pavement. Then he measured the length of from the front of the lower gateway to the front of the inner court, exterior on 100 cubits toward the east or in the north. The inner gate, the northern gateway. I mean. On the outer court was also a gateway facing north, and the measure of the length of its width. Its gate chamber, three on the side and three on that side. Its gate post on its archway, and the same measure as the first gate. Its length was 50 cubits and its width 25 cubits. Its window and doors of its archways and also its palm trees had same measures as the gateway facing east. It was ascended by the 7 steps in its archway was in front of it. A gate of the inner court was opposite of the northern gateway, just as the eastern gateway in the measure of the gateway to the gateway of the 100 cubits. A lot of gateways. The southern gateway. As after he brought me toward the south, and there the gateway was facing south, and the measure of the gateposts of the arches according to the same measurement. These were windows in all its in its archway, all the one is those windows. Its length was 50 cubits and its width 25 cubits. 7 steps led up to it, and 7 archway was in front of them. And it had palm trees on its gatepost, and on its side, and on one side there was gateway on the inner court facing out south, and measure gateway toward the way toward the south, and 100 cubits. Gateway of the inner court. Then he brought me to the inner court, the southern gateway. He measured the southern gateway according to the same measurements. Also, its gate chambers, its gate posts, and its archways were according to the same measurement. There were windows and in the archways all around. It was 50 cubits long and 25 cubits wide. So, yes, man, it's hot. 100 degrees. There were archway all around, 25 cubits long and 5 cubits wide. Its archway faced the outer court. Palm trees were on its gatepost, and going to it were 8 steps. And he brought me into the inner court facing east. He measured the gateway according to the three. Each archway faced the outer court. Palm trees were on its gate post, and doing it up were 8 steps. And he brought me into the court facing east. He measured the gateway according to the same measurement. Also, its gate chambers, its gate posts, and its archway were according to the same measurement. And there were windows in it, and its archways all around it was 50 cubits long and 25 cubits wide. Each archway faced the outer court, and the palm trees were on the gate post, and the side on the side, and going up to it 8 steps. Then he brought me to the north gate gateway and measured according to the same measurement. Also his gate chamber and his gate post and its archway and its window and all around its length was 50 cubits and wide 25 cubits. And the gate post faced the other court, palm tree where is the gate post and the side and that side. And it's going where the 8 steps. Got the 2 part again. So where sacrifices were prepared. There was a chamber in its entrance by the gatepost of the gateway, where they washed the burnt offering. In the vestibule of the gateway, there are 2 tables in the side of 2 tables in the other side, on which the bur- to slay the burnt offering, the sin offering, and the trespass offering. On the other side of the vestibule, as one goes up to the entrance of the northern gateway, were 2 tables, and on the other side of the vestibule blue of the gateway were 2 tables. 4 tables were on this side and 4 tables on the other side. By the side of the gateway, 8 tables was on each slaughter the sacrifice. There were also 4 tables of hewn stones and for the burnt offering, 1 cubit and a half long, cubit and a half wide, and 1 cubit in the height. Of this laid the instrument which the slaughter of the burnt offering and the sacrifice. Inside were a hook and a breadth wide, and a fastening of around, and all the flesh of sacrifice were on the table. Chamber of the singers and priest. Outside the inner gate were the chamber of the sinners, in the inner court, and facing south of the side of this northward gateway, and the other side, north of the side, facing north of the side of the southwest gateway. Then he said to me, this chamber, which faces south, is for the priests who have charge of the temple. The chamber which faces north is for the priests who have charge of the altar. These are the son of Zadok, from the son of Levi, who come near the Lord, minister to him. It's mention of the inner court of the vestibule. And he measured the court, and 100 cubit long and 100 cubit wide, in the four square of the altar in front of the temple. And then he brought me to the vestibule of the temple and measured the doorpost of the vestibule, the 5 cubits on each side of the cubit on the gateway, and inside of the gateway 2 cubits, and inside of the 3 cubits on the side length in the vestibules was 5 cubits, and the mid 11th of the cubits, and the wife of the led into the to where the pillar by the doorpost of one on the side and on the other sides. Man. Chapter 41. The mention of the sanctuary. Then he brought me into the sanctuary and measured the doorpost 6 cubits wide and 6 cubits wide on the other side, the wing for the tabernacles. The way for the entry was 10 cubits, and the side of the wall of the entrance was 5 cubits, and the side of the 5 cubits on the other side. And he measured its length, 45 cubits and its width, and 20 cubits. Also he went inside and measured the doorpost 2 cubits, and the entrance 6 cubits, and the width of the sanctuary itself is cubits. He measured the length 12, 20 cubits, and the width 20 cubits. Beyond the sanctuary, and they said to me, this is the most holy place. The side chambers on the wall. Next, he measured the wall of the temple 6 cubits. The width of each side chamber all around the temple was 4 cubits on every side. The side chamber were in the 3 stories, one above the other 30 chambers in each story. The western on ledges, which were for the side chamber all around, that they might be supported, but not fastened as the wall of the temple. As one went up the story of the side chamber of the wide all around, because of the support ledge of the wall in the temple, wide for the church structures increased as one went from the lowest story to the highest as the way of the bottom of the middle one. I also saw elevations all around the temple. It was the foundation of the side of the chambers as full word that is 6 chambers high. The thickness of the art wall in the side of the chamber was 5 cubits, and so also the remaining of the terrace of the place of the chamber was on the temple. And between it was the wall chamber of the wide 20 cubits long around the temple on every side, and the door of the side chambers on the pin trace one door toward the north and another wall toward the width, and the what the width wow of the entrance was 5 cubits all around. The building at the western end. The building that face of the separating court that is in the west end of the center of the 5 cubit take in one and its length 9 cubits. Dimension and design of the temple's area. So he measured the temple 100 cubits long and then separated the courtyard of which the building is the wall of the 100 cubits long. Also the width of the eastern face of the temple, including all the separating courtyard, 100 cubits. Measure the length of the building behind it, facing the step around the courtyard, its gallery, and all one side of the other side, 100 cubits, as well as the inner court of the 12 porches of the court. The, this doorpost, and this doorpost and the believe window trim, and the gallery is all the ones of 3 stories, opposite the of the panels, with food for the frame of the one window and well covered, for the face of the above the floor. When they even to the inner room, as well as the outer room, and all very well be revealed, swaned. Ah. And it was made with cherubim and a palm tree, and the palm tree between cherubim and cherubim. Each cherubim had 2 faces, so that the face of man was toward the palm tree on the side, and the face of a young lion toward the palm tree on the other side. Thus it was faced throughout the temple all around. From the floor of the space above the floor, the door, and the wall of the sanctuary, cherubim and palm trees were carved. The doorposts of the temple were square, and it was the temple of the sanctuary. The appearance. The appearance was similar. The altar was a wood, 2 cubits height and a length of 2 cubits. Its corner length and the side length were of wood. And he said to me, "This is the table that before you, the Lord. The table of the sanctuary had 2 doors, the posts and the 2 panels. Appreciate your beloved." And shook. Oh, so bad. As for the front of the sanctuary, I just read from here. The altar was for 2 cubits high and length 2 cubits, corner of the side were wood of the festival, and the table was before the Lord. The table of the sanctuary had 2 doors. The door had the 2 panels, and the piece of the folding panel, the two of the door, the panel of the other door. Cherubim and palm tree were covered on the door of the table, and they were carved in the wall of the wooden carved on the front of the vestibule. They were the beloved window frame, and on the other side of the vestibule, also on the side of the chambers, and the table of the candlelight. So that's 42. Chamber of the priest. Then he brought me into the outer court of the way toward the north, and he brought me into the chamber which opposite the separated courtyard, in which opposite of the building toward the north, in front of the length, which was 100 cubits, and width of 50 cubits, was the fourth door of the north, opposite of the inner court of the 20 cubit, and opposite of the pavement of outer court was gallery, again the gallery of the 3 stories. In front of the chamber toward the inner was walk in the cubit wide, and the distance of the cubit, and the door faced north. Now the upper court was shorter because of the gallery took space, and then moved more from the lower and the middle story of the building, for they were the 3 story, and did not pillar like the pillar of the court. Therefore the upper level was shorter and more than the lower middle of the level wound up. And the wall which was outside the panel to the chamber of the front of the chamber toward the outer court, its length was 50 cubits, and its length the length of the chamber of the wall, the outer court was 50 cubits. Wherever all that Whoever that faced the temple of the inner address was 100 cubits. And the lower chamber was 2 inches on the side of the goals that go around the courthouse. All there was a chamber in the thickness of the wall of the courthouse on the east side of the opposite, separating the courtyard opposite the building. There was a walk in front of them also, and the appearance was like the chamber of which toward the north. They were also as long as the wide of the others, and all the exits and the entrance were according to the plan. And the corresponding to the north of the chamber and facing the south in the entrance of where those parts of the walk, directly in front of the wall toward the east. Then he said to me, "The north chamber and the south chamber, which are opposite of the separated courtyard, are the holy chambers, where the priest who approach shall eat of the most holy offering. There shall lay the most holy offering, the grain offering, the trespass offering, in the place of the holy. When the priest often shed, they shall not go out of the holy. There they shall also leave their parents." Other dimension of the temple. Now, when he had finished measuring the inner, he brought me to the gate of the face toward east and measured it all around. He measured the east side of the measure one, and 500 cubits wide around all around, and measured the north side, 500 cubits and the north side on the wall all around. He measured the south side, 5 cubits wide of the measure, and he came around of the west side of the measure, and 500 wide for the measuring. He measured it on the fourth side. He had a wall 500 cubits long, and 500 wide to separate the holy east of the court. Let's stop right there, guys. I have part two. I'm gonna be reading chapter 43. Right. Thank you. See you next.